Okay, here we go. So, this is what we're going to work on. We're going to basically build a rough as guts social media site. It's not going to look pretty, but it is going to exist. So, I'm going to have a public section and a private section to this website. Okay, so pages wise, I'm going to have an index and a register page because I want people to get access to it all the time. Private, that's where I'm going to have the profiles, the ability to add movies into this thing, comments and friends. Okay, so this is going to be a site about movie reviews. Now, in localhost, what I've got in my database, I've got a database table, a database I've made called Movie Review. It has the following tables in it. These guys. Okay, so I have a user table, like this, which I've got the user ID, username, password, first name, last name, email. Right, so that's the information I want to collect about a user. I have a friend table, which is going to let me link the two user profiles together, so I know that they're friends. I'm going to have a movie table, which is going to give me some information in regards to linking it back to the user who posted the movie, the title, the synopsis, the rating, a cover ID, which is going to be the movie cover, so I'm going to actually have an image in a separate database table. I'm also going to have a comments ID, which is going to have a nice simple table like this, so people can store information inside it. So that's the structure of it all. So here I've already gone through and made it. So let's have a quick look at the structure of this. So if I go into the structure of my user, okay, so UID, I like that, varchars. My UID is of course an integer, it's auto incrementing, and it's the primary key. Okay, so that's pretty much all I needed to know with that. Now, let's get started. I've got, oops, I should close them first. Okay, so I've got nothing here. So now I'm going to start off with index.php. Okay, that's where I'm going to put stuff. I'm going to want a functions folder, like so, and inside my functions folder I'm going to put a functions.php. Okay, I'm going to want a pages folder. So this is where I'm going to be storing all of my additional pages. So inside that I'm going to want my register PHP, and I'm going to want a profile PHP at the very least. Okay, so now on the index page, what I want to do is I want to put in the title, and then I'm going to want a form. Okay, so yeah, let's do it this way. Okay. H3, and we'll go login. Now underneath here I'm going to want my form. So I'm dragging in from the side my form controls. I was thinking of making it a self-feeding form. We'll see how I go. Okay, so I'll put that into there. So when I log in, I'm going to want their username, and I'm going to want their password and a submit button. So I've got to make sure I put in the labels for that and the input of password for the password. Okay, so if I go username, password, make sure the names of the input fields match, well, at least match what it is that you want to catch. And we'll go password. Excellent. And we also need a submit button. And we'll change that just to the word submit like that. And let's throw in a if you don't have an account, then please pages/register, and please register. Excellent. Now, of course, if I was actually having making it look pretty, I would have some random text in there. So I'll get some lorem ipsum text. Copy that from that screen, paste it into this screen, like so. Okay, so now if I save that, load up the page, refresh. Awesome, so this is like my movie review. And we want to make sure that goes to the register page up the top. Excellent. So let's go back. So first thing we've got to do is we've got to get the register up and running. So the register is pretty much the same type of thing. It's another form. So what we'll do is we're going to make this into a self-feeding form. But we're going to start off by doing it inside HTML and then putting it inside the PHP. So I need a label and a text box. Okay, so that will be for username, password, first name, last name, email address. Let me have a quick look. Username, password, first name, last name, email address. Excellent, that's all I want. And of course I will need a submit button. Like so. Tab it out. Now don't forget, if this one's going to be the password, okay, we'll use the input password, but I want to do it twice. Okay, so let's just change this down. So now I'm going to run through and change the names. It's going to be put1, and this will be put2, because I'm going to want to verify it. This is my username. This will be my first name, last name, email, I submit, and now I want to be able to say it on the screen. So username, password, verify, password, first name, last name, email. Okay, so I haven't done anything to make that look pretty at all. So let's just throw in a line break or two. Okay, so let's just have a look what that looks like. I want to go to this one, so now if I hit the register button, username, password. Cool, not too bad. I'll also put a link back as well. Index.php, just so I can get back to it. Index page. Save that. Let's have a look. So if I refresh this page now, there we go. Now remember, I'm not styling it, so that's something you can do when you're building this thing. Now, as I said, we want to turn this into PHP. So, I'm going to open up my PHP tag here, and I'm going to close my PHP here. Now, all of this goes inside an echo command because I'm echoing it to the screen. So let's echo out this form, like so. Now, as this is going to be a self-feeding form, we're going to do if is set bracket dot answer post submit. So if not is set that, put that into here, tab that out a bit, close that, else that, echo, submit hit, close that, end of if. Alright, so my action is now to post to itself, so it's that, also underscore server php underscore self. Right, so if I click that, it goes up and it comes back. Now, I've also got to do a couple of extra things, which I haven't done yet. Now I'm going to be using sessions, so I want to do session underscore start. Right, so that'll be storing some information, so I don't have to keep looking and checking for the user. I'm just going to turn off reporting errors now. I'm going to want to have, if I jump into functions, remember functions is just straight PHP with information. Now, when I hit the submit button, I want to be able to collect this data. So I'm going to go say username is assigned underscore post username $sign that is assigned 1, that's what I call it, yep. And we want $2 is assigned underscore, let's put the $sign, let's put 2. What else we have? We had first name, last name. Okay, so name equals underscore post. F name underscore post. L name. So L name is assigned, and also email. So underscore post email. And these guys, I want to check to make sure they get filled out here. So I'm just going to echo them out. Now, I'm just going to throw a line break between the variables here, just to make it a little more readable. That can go to there, right. Okay, so I still haven't got my actual connection to the database yet, but that's a good start. So let's just check to make sure this bit works. So if I go to register, I'm going to have Fred Smith email, hit submit, hit Fred, submit. Excellent, so that's good. That means our data is transferring exactly how I want it to transfer. Now, I've got to get that into the database. So to do that, I'm going to make a function called dblink. Okay, you've seen it in the lecture, you've seen it in the tutorials, it looks like that. Okay, so that should connect up to our page. So I'll save that, go back to the register. Now I want to include my functions, but I'm going to use require underscore wants to dot functions slash functions dot php and db link. Right. So if this fails, I'm going to see nothing on that screen. So now that I've put that in, let's check. Go to the register. That's a good sign. Smith and Fred Smith details, submit. Excellent. So the page is still working with this. So I've got connection to the database and I can take stuff in and out. Right, now a little bit of error checking down here. And it's very simple. I'm just going to see if the first password entered is the same as the second password entered. Okay, so if the password equals password, and if, right, so I'm not even going to need that anymore. Now in this section here, this is where I'm going to insert into database. So just echo that out. Otherwise, echo, let's do it this way, span style equals color red, that, slash span Passwords didn't match. Passwords didn't match. href equals. Let's feedback to self-register.php. Try again. And we'll close off that link there. Okay, not exactly awesome, but it should work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to test the fail function. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Fred. I'm going to put Fred here and junk in the second one. Fred Smith. Oops. Oh, there we go. Passwords didn't match. Try again. Leads me back into here. Let's go to Fred. Smith. Submit. Insert into database. Excellent. That's good. So the logic here works. When I hit the submit button here, jumps up, grabs all this stuff. My password's matched. I can now insert into database. Now, just like we did in the lecture notes, what we're going to do is going to make a function for it. It's going to be this one here, function create user. Okay, so I'm going to insert into the user table the username, password, first name, last name, and email. Okay, that runs here. This is something new. Okay, what this does is it takes the last generated auto ID and returns it, so I can know who the user ID is. Okay, so now I'm putting that information into a session called UID. Okay, so if I go here back to create user, I can take that. Actually, I'll just do that. Create user with that onto it. Let's have a look. Username, put a first name, middle name, email. Excellent. Awesome. And echo into here. We will go, user has been added. Right, so we can get rid of that echo because that doesn't need to be there anymore. Okay, so let's have a look. I want to register account. Fred Smith, submit. Okay, user has been added. So let's jump over to here. I might have to log in. No, excellent. But down here in my user table, one bit of information has just gone in. So now I browse it just to check. Fred Smith. Excellent. That's good. Now, here's the deal. Because I've started using sessions, that has to be on every single page. Okay, so even my index page needs it. Okay, so this bit of code right here is going to have to go on every single page. That doesn't need that in it though. Awesome. So now that I've done that, if I go back to here, let's echo it out just so you can see. Where will we do that? Let's do that right about here. Echo session UID. Okay, so there we go. So the number 1's popped up. That's because when I did the register, I've created a variable that now runs amongst all pages, and I can store it into there. Okay, so that's a good start. So I don't really want to echo it out, but that's good. Now, my action here when I fill out this form is I want to go to my profile. So this is going to take me to pages/profile PHP. Okay, so we'll save that. I want that. I get a profile, and I'll paste that into here. Pretty much I'm done with index, so I'll close that one down, and I'm done with register, so I can close that down. Excellent. Good. Now, on my profile, what I want to do is I want to pull back the information in regards to the user, but I also want to make sure that this person, when they log on, is the correct person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do $UID is assigned _ session UID. Actually, let me relook at my index page. What am I sending over? I'm sending my username and my password, so I need to get that first. Let's go $username is assigned post username goes here. We'll go $password is assigned post password. And we won't have that in there yet. Okay, we'll actually assign that. So now what we want to do is we want to validate. So I'm going to feed that information back here. So I'm going to say valid user is assigned validate $username, $password. Okay, so this is going to be a function that we're going to make right now, where we're going to pass the username and the password into it, and then it's going to tell me whether or not valid user exists. Okay, so let's go function validate bracket $username, $password. Okay, just remember, these names here, these parameters, do not have to match the parameter names here. You just do it so it's a little bit readable, but you can get away without doing it. End of function. Okay, so now that we've got that, the first thing we have to do is search the user data, the user database table to get the correct information out. Okay. Right. So anyway, I need a valid user, so I'm going to use this validate function, which passes in this detail. So in my functions, I'm going to build this validate user function here. Now you may have noticed that the video skips. What I basically do is I will pause the video, make the code work, and then show you the code. So for example, here's the code. Okay, so we don't need that in there. Now what this does is it stores a what I'm doing is I'm doing a run through, so I'm selecting star from user. Okay, so user is of course our database table. Now what we're doing is I'm checking every single user that gets in there, and I'm assigning the username into these variables, the password into this variable. So that's the stuff that is stored in here. So this username and this password. Okay. Now, then what I do is I actually run a compare. So what I'm doing is if the uname, which is pulled out of the database, equals the same as the username, which we got passed into, and, right, so it's very important that it's an and, password, which we pulled from the database, equals the same as the user entered password, then we return true, so that automatically jumps us out of our function, puts us back into here. Otherwise, at the end of the day, just return false. Okay, so I'll save that. Now, from here, I need to put in a little quick test. Okay, so this will tell us whether or not it's working. So if valid user, it's going to come back as true or false. So if true, then do this, else do this. Now we're going to put in the echo here, else, echo here. Okay, no user, valid user. Alright, so this is just testing. Okay, because what we do is we use this to determine what they can see down underneath. So let's go back to our pages here. I'll go jump into register, back to the index page. Okay, so now here we have Fred and Fred. Fred and Fred. So if I hit the submit button, valid user. Excellent, that's what we want to see. Now let's test it with Fred and a junk password. No user. Perfect. Okay, that's what we want to see. Now, this we can use. This we can use one way, but what we're going to do is I'm just going to change the function. So what I want to get is I want to get the actual UID of the user. Okay. So even though we're going to return true, right, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that code. In fact, it's perfect. It's what we want. What I want to do, I've got to make sure I put in the correct square bracket and single quote. Now I'm going to go $_ session is assigned UID. Is assigned $UID. Okay, so this puts the database UID into a session variable, session var. Cool, so that's just that UID for that one user. And let's go back to our profile here. Now what we're going to do is if valid user and $_ session UID greater than 0, let's do it this way. So we'll save that and we'll test it again. You'll find that when you're building this type of stuff, you test an awful lot. Okay, so that failed epically. Where did I fail? Did I fail on here? Yep, semicolon at the end there. Not a smart move. Let's go refresh our index page again. Cool. Okay, so let's try Fred and Fred. Valid user. Excellent. Go back with the register button. Index. And now we go Fred and junk. And I should see a no user. Excellent. That's good. Okay, so what we're doing here is a double check. So if we found the username and the password, and then we've assigned into the UID, the session UID, that, it now means I know that this is going to be global for the entire site. Okay, so now, what do we want to see from here? Okay, so what I probably want to do is I want to add, I want to be able to see the username and the password, basically say thank you. So we'll put that into here. And let's take this bit of code. Okay, so we'll just take that out. And we'll put it in here. Okay, so that's going to be everything that happens if it's true. Otherwise, we're going to say no user. Where's my register? And I will steal this link back. Else. What do I put in? That. Right, so let's put that in. We'll be nice about it. We'll go invalid login. If I can spell the word invalid. Invalid login. Try again. Alright, so it's a little bit nicer when they fail. Now, we know that this is valid, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to want the I'm going to want to get their first name, and I'm going to make a function that returns single data, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass in $sign UID. Okay, and just go $sign UID equals $underscore session UID. Actually, no, let's just use the session stuff in here. $underscore, not like that, underscore session UID. So that's my UID that's going in. So I'm going to use the user ID. I'm going to want to return their first name. Now I'm going to want it from the table user, and I'm going to want first name. Okay, so return single UID, user table, and first name. So let's take a copy of that. Jump over to here. Throw a bunch of them, and we'll go function that here, and a function. Now I'm going to go $sign UID is assigned. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm session UID. Actually, I don't even have to do that because I can do it here. So that'll be $sign UID that comes in. This will be the table, so we go $sign table, and here $sign field. Okay. So from here, when I look at my database, back to here, I'm going to be bringing in looking for the UID from the user table, and I'm looking for first name. Okay. So let's get back to the code. Now to do that, basically I need this information here. So it's pretty much kind of the same as this function. So I'll steal that code, paste it here. Now, because you don't always want to be checking every single table, because if you've got 100,000 users, it's going to take some time. So we want to select from user where UID equals $sign UID. Okay. And that isn't actually user because I want to use this table variable. From $sign table where UID equals UID, and then we want to tidy this up a little bit. I don't want. Let's have a look. So if I go $sign data is row. What is it? It's $sign field. $sign field. Okay. And then what we do from here, turn $sign data. Okay. That should work. Let's save that and have a look, shall we? So we save that, we go back over to here. Remember, this I'm just making this up as we go, so we $sign F name here. So, cool. Let's run this thing. Okay, so if I log in as Fred, with my password of Fred, hit submit, I got nothing. Okay, so I've made a mistake in the code. I'll jump back. That part's probably right. It's bound to be in here. So I will pause the video and I'll have a quick look at it, fix it up, and show you the correct. Okay. It was a typo to start off with. So what I've done is I've added single quotes around the UID, and I've got this guy here, which isn't needed, so I can delete him. Okay, so I'll save that. Jump back to here. So I refresh my index page. Let's have another look. Fred. Still nothing. Obviously I didn't fully check it. In we go. Okay, so let's have a look at this stuff here. Alright, so I tossed in a quick echo here to help me look for the area, where the area was occurring. So remember, I'm getting blank. This is why I'm getting blank. Remember what the single quotes do? Turns this stuff in the middle into a string. So instead of looking for the variable, the contents of the variable, it's actually looking for something in the database called $field. So if I pull this out, like so, I'll save it, okay? And we will jump back to here, and if I log in as Fred, hit submit, Fred. So that's his first name coming back. Now, the reason why I made it like this is so if I go into my profile page, like this, I can copy, paste, and I'm going to want his last name. I'll call that L name. And we go dot space, space dot, $sign, L name. And just to make it look a little prettier, we'll go H3. Welcome back. Let's put that on the other side of it, space, that, semicolon, space. Okay, so now I've just used the same function here. Jump in here, so let's have a look. So we go Fred, submit. Welcome back, Fred Smith. Awesome, so I know he can log in. Now, I haven't tested it, so we're going to test it now. I've got a Fred Smith that works. What happens if I should have another user in this database? So I'm going to make a Mary. I'm going to use a Mary. Mary, we'll just go Mary, what the heck, we'll make them the same person. And this will be ms at msmith.com. Okay. Excellent. User's been added. Go back to here. Let's try Mary. Mary into here. Submit. Welcome back, Mary Smith. Excellent. Good. So now I've got, if I browse back into here, alright, so I've got 2 users in here, and I'm pulling back my first name and last name. Normally you wouldn't have this clear. This would be all encrypted as well but we can do that later. Okay, so once I'm in, what do I want to do? I want to allow them the option of changing their information, okay? So I'm going to want to echo out the following. And we'll just H4, and we'll go ahref equals edit profile .php, and that we edit user details. Oops, one too many. Okay, so we edit user details there. So this is going to be our navigation system at the moment. So I'll just close off the H4. What I will do, because I said this was about movies, so I'm going to want to be able to add movie. Add movie details. We'll go edit movie. So we'll have add movie, edit movie. Okay, so if we save that, come back to here, refresh that. Okay, so now I've got these bits. So let's work on the edit movie to start off with. No, sorry, the edit user details. So I need to make an edit profile page. So on new PHP, let's open it up. Now let's close this guy down and index down. Functions will keep open profile. We're going to need this stuff. Okay. Now the cool thing is I don't actually need that. Okay. I just need this bit here. Now I don't want to be able to edit profile unless I'm validated. So in this part, right, so I'm going to want this part in as well, which goes into here. Okay, all I need to know is if my session UID is greater than 0. Okay, because remember, that's assigned when you log on, or once you get to here. Right, so once I'm here, when I click on this link here, I want to be able to go into here. Okay, so as long as it's greater than 0, it gets me this. Now this echo, we'll just delete for the moment. That's got our first name and our last name. And that's an invalid login, okay? Cool, so that's all nice and easy. Now, we want to be able to edit the details. So let's put in an echo here. And we'll put that as a H4. H4, and we'll go edit user details. Cool. Now, we've already done this, so what I'm going to just jump over to the register form. Basically, steal this. Just this part to here. Okay. So put that into here. Right, so we want all this stuff here to occur beforehand. So what does our user have? Our user has their username. We want them to be able to change password, first name, last name, and email. So we've got to ask for all this information. So this form here asks for username, password, all this type of stuff, okay? So this is where this variable comes into play. So that's first name, last name. We won't let them change their username, but we will let them change their password. So inside here, actually no, I don't really care what the password is, but I do care what their email is. So I'll grab their email here. Username, password will be blank, label will be blank. Okay, so this is our first name. And here we go, value equals double quotes, single quote, double dot there, $sign F name. This is our last name, which has a value of double quote, two single quotes, double dot in the middle, $sign L name, if I can spell the word right, L name. This is my email, value equals double them, double that, $sign email. Okay, and I better make sure I close that off to here. So let's have a look. This if, tab that out. That goes back one level. So this is the end of form if slash else. This here is, so that's this one here. This is the submit. Alright, so this is where comments come into good play. So if it's not submit, we load up the form, we fill the details out, else in here. This is where we'll do stuff. This is the end of the end of valid user, and this else is what happens if it's not the valid user. So let's have a save. Let's see if there's anything in there that doesn't work. So if I click edit user details, excellent. So the form's filled up. We can change our password, first name, last name, and email. Of course, when we hit submit, we get nothing because I haven't put anything there yet. So that's good. Now, from here, we need to be able to once again capture these details. So password 1 and 2. They don't actually happen, so we can just do them here. So your password 1 equals $sign underscore post. That $sign put it 2 equals $sign underscore post 2. What do we got? $sign F name equals $sign underscore post. F name $sign L name equals $sign underscore post. Last name, keep an eye out for typos, and $sign email equals $sign underscore post. email. Alright, so that's all the information. Now, things that we've got to check for is if $password or $put it to, no space there, password to I haven't tried it this way. That's right. Equals does not equals null. Huh. Echo no password change. Right. This will be interesting. I've never tried this before. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually asking it if our password and password 2 are basically empty, then just say we're not making a password change. Yeah, this ought to prove fun. Let's jump back to here. Let's go all the way back. Yep, we'll refresh the page. Alright, so this is my profile page. Notice how it loaded straight back up into here. That's because my session ID still exists. So if I edit user details, right, so passwords are empty, I'm not putting anything in there, I'm not changing anything, I hit submit, no password change. Excellent. That's good. Alright, so if the two passwords don't have anything, then we don't want a password change. Else, so let's put that in the curly braces, we want to do if bracket $password equals $password 2. So I'm just echoing out where I want stuff to go to start off with, so that way I can follow the data without actually manipulating the database. And we go, if that equals that, then we go password gets changed. Else, do I really care? No, I don't. Okay, so let's jump in and check that bit. Okay, so I'm going to go password of Fred, verify password of Fred, so I hit submit button. Oh, you got to remember to refresh the page when you change stuff. Okay, so we go Fred and Fred. Nothing happened. Fred and Durf. Nothing happened. Okay, so the logic is a little bit out there. So let's go echo here. Okay, so this is how you debug PHP. You just throw in echoes. So what I want to do is when I submit it with data, right? So if it doesn't equal null, no password change. Otherwise, what I want to do is I want to just check into here. Okay. Saved. Yep. Back to here. Reload the page. Excellent. So it does get into this point right here. And now, else echo passwords don't match. Now what am I looking at? Looking at edit profile.php. Try again. /a. Okay, so we know this part kicks in. Let's just echo this stuff out, all of it anyway. Just to keep an eye on it, so we echo to here. Remember this from earlier where I just put in line breaks? Nope, don't delete that. So this will help us follow the data. Right, so it's all clean. Let's go back to this point. Let's go back to here. Let's go back to profile page. Okay, edit user details. This all gets filled out. I hit the submit button. Okay, so this is the details. So no passwords, Fred, no password change. Good. Okay. If I put in Fred and Fred, so my passwords don't match. Let's try again. What if I just send in blank? No password change. Okay, so it said my passwords didn't match when they did. Let me just check. Ah, see the problem? This one here I'm sending through as PWD1 and PWD2, which means PW1 never gets through. So let's save that, jump back into here, refresh the page. Actually, just to speed that up a little, I really do need, it's not an index page that I want, but that's most of what I want. What I want to put in here, and we'll put in profile, and that is profile.php. So if I refresh that, aha, invalid login, try again. Now, why do you think it said that? It said that because when I get to here, I'm looking for both. Let me change that to an OR. Okay? So let's save that. Go back to here. Now I'm going to see if I can trick the system. So if I go into pages/profile.php. There we go. Edit user, profile page. Okay, so now it recognizes who I am. Okay, so let's check. No passwords. Cool, no password change. Let's put in Fred and Fred. No password change, I need to look at that one. Let's go Fred and Junk. No password change. Let's just check this one again with Fred and Fred. Let's just change it to was and was. Confirm the details come through. So that comes through. Okay, so back into our edit profile. So that's coming up here with no password change. So if password or password2 equals null, do that. Otherwise, jump in and check it here. Let's just move the position of that. Sometimes it helps if you move around your logic. So I'll just wipe that bit out there. Okay, back to here, back to profile, edit user, submit. See, so now it says passwords get changed, no password get changed. So that gets into here because even though they were null, they did actually match. So let's just change this to and $, password does not equal null, and bracket $, password 2 does not equal null. We must encapsulate all that, and let's get rid of that line. Right, so if the passwords equal and they're neither null, then the password exchange. Okay. jump back to here, go back to the profile page, edit, hit submit, passwords don't match. Yep, that's pretty much right. We don't have to say don't match, we can just say it didn't work. So let's go back into here. Let's try Fred and junk. Good, so we want it to fail, passwords don't match, try again. And now we put in Fred and Fred, submit, password gets changed. Exactly what we want. And what we don't have to do is we can just say and here we go, invalid data, try again. Okay, so it's a nice way of saying something went wrong. Okay, so that's specifically for our password. Now what we need is a function to update this. Okay, and that goes inside this section. So I'll put in my curly braces, and we will go update user bracket. Let's see, what do we have? We'll have $_ session UID. Let's just change it to the word update, and we'll have we'll feed in the user table, and then we'll feed in the field, so that will be password, and then we will feed into that the actual raw data. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Yep, cool. Let's save that. Let's grab this. We'll jump over to functions. Let's go to here. And we go function and a function here. Okay, so what we want to do is do it all in there. Okay. Okay. So this is what I've got. I haven't tested it yet, but I've put it in. I've changed my function to update, and I've put in some raw information here. So I want the user ID, which, if you recall, comes from session user ID that gets fed into it. So I've got the session ID, the user table, the password is what I'm changing, and the password. So in here, right, so what it's going to happen if the table is user, right, but only if it's user. I put that in because I'm going to see if I can use this update for other tables as well later. But that'll be based off on profile ID, not UID. So what have we got? We've got update the table, so that'll come in as update user, set the password as the new data where the UID equals the session UID that comes in. Okay, so if we save that, let's go back to here, edit details. Well, it didn't fail, that's a good sign. So our original password was Fred and Fred, so I'm going to go was and was, hit submit, was, password gets changed. Let's jump back up in here, let's hit browse. There we go, so see, so now the password's been updated to was. I'm just going to change it back to Fred and Fred because it's easier to remember. Excellent, so we know the password works. Now we've got to jump back into edit profile, and we've got to do the we've now got to check the other details. Okay, so let's grab these because these are the three options that we have, and we'll put them in here. So I'll just tidy that up, tab it out a little. And just to make it a little more interesting, I'm going to go DB underscore in front of it. Okay? There is actually a reason for that. Okay, so that's pulling out the first name, last name, and email from the database, storing them into these variables. These variables here are the ones that come from here. Okay. So this is the last part of our password. So this is changing our password. I'll just put a little comment in here. We'll go password change and a password change. Now I'm going to do first name change. First name change. End of here. First name change. Okay, so we're going to do this with an if as well. So if, okay, $f name, which is the one that was sent over, equals $db underscore f name. Okay, if it equals, actually let's change it to does not equal. Okay, so if it does not equal first name, then this is where this function comes into play again. Then what I want to do is I want to update the first name with our new name. Okay? If it does equal, I don't want that to happen, so I'm just checking to see if it's negative. So we'll save that, jump in here and check it. So let's go to edit. First name is Fred, first name is now Peter. Peter, okay, invalid data, that's fine because that's still relating onto the password stuff. Try again. Notice here it changed. If I jump back into here, I hit the show. There we go, first name is now Peter. Good. So let's change that back to Fred. That's alright. Okay. So this stuff here is popping up. So what we can do is we can actually get rid of that for the moment. Okay. Let's do it this way. We won't have invalid data. We'll say let's, instead of try again, let's change to return to edit profile. Let's put him below everything down here. Okay, so as you can see, that was pretty simple. So we're just going to change that from first name, because pretty much it's the exact same. So if the database L name and that L name, and we change that to an L name, and we change that to last name. Okay. Oh, what the heck? Let's throw an email as well. We know that's going to work. We go email here. Email here. That's the data that we're feeding in, and this is the database table that we're changing. Email. Let's just change that from name just to details. End of details change. Okay, so we save that. And let's go back to here. And we hit the go to profile page, the edit user page. Okay, so we know the first name one works. Let's change the last name here to Peter. Submit. Fred, Peter. Return to edit. Jump into the database. Hit the show. This should say Fred and Peter. Excellent. So let's change that to Smith, and we will change his email to spidey@spiderman.com. Okay, so if I return back to edit, come back to here with the show. Okay, so that's gone back to Smith, and that went back to Spidey. So that shows you that we can actually change multiple things at once. So the form now, when we fill out anything, it modifies it all in one fell swoop. Okay, and now what we do is we get rid of this echo. Okay, because we know that all this works. Let's see. I could put in a variable that basically says that checks to see that it all works. So it feeds back a true and all this type of stuff, letting you know that it's updated. But what we do is we just get them and leave that there. So once you've jumped in to edit profile, like so, and we hit that, we just return back to edit. Okay, and that'll refill it all out for us, so we know what it is straight away. Okay, So that's our editing capabilities. Now we need to add a movie. Okay, so this is what I want to be talking about on this social media site. So I need a new add movie page. Let's go here, new PHP add movie.php. Okay. Right, so if I'm adding something, we're going to need a whole bunch of information. So we're going to steal this again, paste that into there. Okay, we're going to need basically a self-feeding form. So let's just grab this stuff here. Okay, don't forget to close off the PHP and put that in. And it also helps if you put it inside PHP to start off with. Okay, so if session used, so if the session doesn't exist, I don't want the form to show up. Okay, so this is my big if then else. Now let's see, I don't care about those bits, and I'm not editing. I'm going to add a movie. Alright, so let's just, I know I'm doing a form, but sometimes it needs to rebuild from the start. Okay, so let me pause and put some code into there for you. Okay, let's have a look at this form. Okay, so this is for our movies, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually add a cover photo to the movies. So we're actually going to add an encoding type to our form. So for post submit to self, that's all fine, and we're going to add this into it, multi-part form data. So it knows that I'm going to add a non-text entry. So let's see, I'm going to have a label, and I'm going to have one of these, and my label will be choose a file to upload. So just stuff I've got in a different file, so I'm copying and pasting it here. Okay, so this will be for my choose a file. It's not a file. Choose a movie image to upload. Okay, put type submit submit. That's needs that to go in about here. That's my submit, and we'll go upload file. My value for this is when I hit the button, I want it to say let's just try it this way. Add movie data. Makes so much more sense. Okay, so that's for the actual image itself. Right, so notice that this is a type file. Means it tells the system to when it should actually browse. Let me go into here and we'll just click add movie details. Line 40. 40 here, so let's have a look. What haven't I done? There to there, there to there, there to there. Hit refresh. Excellent. Alright, so see how it says browse? Gives me the ability to look for stuff now. Okay, so that's a good start. Now, what I want to add is I want to add the rest of the information that we're after. So if I load this back up for you to have a look, I want the title and the synopsis and a rating. Okay, so let's grab a label and some text. Tab it out a bit. Okay, so in here we'll want the title. So we'll change our name from text to title. We don't actually want to use that type of input. We use a different one. We'll use a text area for it. Okay, so text area. I'll just call it sin because I'm getting lazy with my typing. And we wanted a rating. So let's grab that, copy that, paste that there. rating. Let's put that there. Okay, save that. Let's take a look at the browser version, so we reload it again. Okay, might want to put in some line breaks, yeah? Okay, so let's go. Line break here. Copy that, do that, put that in there. Put that into there. Save that. Refresh the page. Cool. Okay. Let's see about making this a little bigger. Let's change that to say 40 and we'll go rows of say 10. See how big that turns out to be. That's a little better. Cool. But if I throw one of these things, a line break here, makes a little more sense. Just might add a few extra line breaks to make it a bit easier to read. So they go to there, that go to there, that go to there, and that go there. Save. Refresh. Okay, that's going to be my form. Excellent. So, now, once again, this is going to be feeding back onto itself. So when it comes over, we want to be able to start capturing this information. Okay, now, this bit of code that I'm about to copy and paste deals specifically with manipulating the image. Okay? Bang. As you can imagine, it would take forever to type that up, so that's why I'm not typing it up for you. But this is how this bit works, right? So this is just specifically for the image stuff. Now, inside here, right, so when I choose a file here, right, so this is my name user file, so when I hit submit, it comes in here. Notice how this is a $_files? It's because we're recognizing that we're using a type file. Now, so as long as our user file is bigger than 0, we grab our name, the temporary name where it is, the size of it, and what type of file it is. Now we read the file, okay, as you may have recalled from the lecture when we were talking about reading. Read from here, we get the file size, we tidy it up, we close it, we streamline it a little bit so it's not messy and damaging to our system, and then we put it in here. Okay, so this is the movie cover, this thing here, this movie cover database section. Okay, image data, image type, image name, image size. Okay, that's all here, and this is the value that comes in. So that's the image manipulation stuff. Now I'm also going to want a $title, which is assign2 $_post title, so that's going to be the title of it. $sin is the $_post synopsis stuff, and $rate, which is $_post. I actually call it rating, so that goes into there. Okay, now we should, for this type of stuff, be cleaning it, making sure it's all cleaned out, so there's no injection SQL code in there. I'm not going to worry about that for the moment, so I'll pause it, figure it out, and get back to you. Okay, I'm back. So this is one of the things that needed to be done. Okay, pretty much the code itself was fine. I needed to put this MySQL real escape string onto it. In the text that I was pasting in my description, there was some injection code into it. So even though I said, like way back at the start of this part, I should have done it, now I really do have to do it. So when you do it, make sure you put that in. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll just show it to you. So we'll jump back into here. So I've got like 2 in there. So what I'll do is I'll show you how to empty it. So I'm going to go into operations. Then I'm going to truncate it. Don't do drop. Make sure it's truncate if you just want to get rid of the data. Okay, so I'll empty out my movie information here. I've got my movie cover. Go to my operations. Click on the empty table, truncate. Excellent, okay. So now, let's go back to here. So, let's do the Dark Knight. Paste that into there. 92. Browse, Dark Knight. Add the movie. Okay, so I'm putting this information out just because I can. You could always make it nicer if you felt like it. Wasn't too much of an issue at this stage. Paste that into there. Rating, we'll give it a 70. This are expendables, and we'll add that. Go to my profile, and we'll add one more, which is Total Recall. And Total Recall, and we go add movie data. Awesome. Okay, so while that loads up, let's have a look. So if I go to movie here, I should have 1, 2, 3 movies. Okay. Obviously I didn't put the rating in properly, but that's alright. Go into my movie cover. Okay, there's my 3 pictures going in there. Excellent. Okay, as I'm looking at this, I realize that I'm pretty sure I've made a mistake here. Okay, in my comments, notice how in the movie I actually have like the comments ID. I don't want that there. That's irrelevant, because what I should have is the movie ID here in my comments. Okay, because I can't have a comments ID here, a one-to-one. I mean a one-to-many comments here. What I want is a many here to one of those. So that means that in my comments here, I would now have to add in my movie ID. So I'm taking this point here. I don't know why it's doing that. So I'm taking this point here, the UID, and I need to put it into there. So I'll just modify my comments field while I think about it. And I want to add one more row. Doesn't really matter where you put it, but we'll go movie ID. It's an integer. Okay, so now I've got that at the end of it. So when I get around to putting on comment on my movie details, that'll just pull out. Okay, what we should do is we should also have a listing in there. So that's my profile page. And we'll go list movies, just so you can see them. Like that. So let's do that guy first. Okay, new PHP, and we'll go list movie .php. Awesome. We'll bring that guy up. Now, when it comes to listing movies, there's a way of doing it that requires using a file to bring it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a file called view image, which I'm going to put here, new PHP, view image.php, and it looks like that. Okay. So now, that isn't user photo, that is actually a movie cover. Let's make some changes to this thing. So it's UID. Okay, so it's UID. Select file data. Well, it's not quite file data anymore. It's what do I say? It's image data. Image data. Okay, so the reason why this is a separate file is because if there's any, we're changing the header stuff. Okay, so if 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 there's any HTML before this, it's not going to work. Okay, that it's not going to kick in anyway because I don't have that image. But you get the idea. It was movie cover, wasn't it? Movie cover in lowercase. Right. So we save that here. So that's my view image file. I did that because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run through a basically. Let's show this off. So I'm going to want my link back to there. Let's grab that stuff here. Actually, let's grab this stuff. Okay, so this is inside PHP again. Paste that there. Let me just check that page. Notice how it's blank? That's because when I go to here, I actually pull this information out. In my add movie, I didn't do that above there, so I just paste that into it. So that goes there. That goes there. Okay, we're going to list all our movies here. Okay, list of movies. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a database query to access the database and pull back all the information. Okay, so I could potentially start with one of these, but what I want to do is I want to steal. Let's steal this one for the moment. So I just want this code here. I'll save that. I'll paste that in here. Now I want to select from my table to start off with, which is movie. Okay. So I'm going to select from movie where my profile ID, okay, where my profile ID, let's go $UID equals $_ session UID equals UID. Okay, so what that does is going to run through and grab every single bit of information where this ID equals what's in my session. Okay, now the data that we're going to want, I don't want to do a return data here. We're going to grab the title. That is actually the title. We'll go rating. We'll go sin, which, since I had issues with before, I'm actually going to just steal the correct spelling from here. I want that like that. Okay, now that's the text coming out. I also need the other bits and pieces of information. So that should bring this out, my rating, and I'm going to want my cover ID. Okay, so let's go assign cover ID, assigned row, that, square bracket that, cover ID, that, and that. Right. Now, I think I might do this in a table. So we're going to go echo like this. Table, close table. Table row, close table row. Now, first table data is we'll have title /td that, that, and we'll go $title. Okay, and then we'll go TD style equals width 40 pixels, that slash TD, and we'll go rating there, that, and there. What do I call it? I actually called it rating. Okay, so that'll put in our title and our movie rating. So on the next line of my table, I want to put in my synopsis. So we'll do it this way. We'll go TD, and I'll go synopsis, S or however it's spelled, to here, that $sin that slash TD. Now I want this to go over all the columns. So here I will go col span equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay. Actually, let's make it 6. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do it as 6 to start off with. Okay, so that should just pull out all the text. So let's save that. Let's get rid of returned false. Save it again and see how that works so far. Okay, so let's go back to profile page. List our movies. Unexpected end of file means I'm probably missing a semi curly brace, which I am. So this guy here is our end of while, and I need to put in that guy there, which is the end of if. Okay, so that end of if you recall, is this bit here, where we can put that in. Invalid login. If I felt like it. At the moment I don't really. Undefined variables underscore session. So let's jump into here. So UID, why? Because I haven't put in my stuff up here. Save that. Go back to here. Okay, let's go back to profile page. List our movies. That looks better. Okay, so title, the rating, synopsis. Cool. Okay, so that's got that information in. Now, what I want to do is let's put in a table row, the start of it. We'll put in a table data, like so. Now, this is going to have a col. Let's go row span equals 3. Now, inside there, I'm going to want to put in the following bit of code, like so. Here's $sign cov ID. That. Okay, and the table, give it a width of say 500 pixels. I should do it properly. Style equals width 500 pixels. Save that. Jump back to here, hit the refresh button. There's our images coming up. Okay, so they're all squished. Let's change that because we want to pull this width and height out. Save that. Okay, so remember this here references this view image PHP that we made, and we're feeding in the cover image that we pulled out from there. Okay, so let's refresh again. Probably should have made it wider than 500, so let's change that width to, say, 700. Jump back over here, the refresh. Okay, that looks a little better. Not quite as hard to read. Of course, you know, this is where you can style this up for this information to pop up. Okay? Excellent. So I can see the movies, I can list the movies. I can edit the movies. Well, not quite yet, but you get the idea. Okay, so that's putting images into a database, which we haven't covered in class yet, but it's there. Right, next on the list. Okay. At the moment, it's all pretty much of much. I'm going to worry about doing edit movie details. You can guess how that's going to work. It's going to be like our edit user details, where you click, fill out the form, and instead of having, and then for your image, if you were changing information about your image, you would just use roughly the same code here to change it that way. So we've got two users, haven't we? So if I jump back in here and we go back to our users table, we've got Fred and Mary here. Okay, so we're going to actually now link them up. So let's have a look. UID1, UID2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that total recall here, okay, total recall was put in by Mary, so we'll put the 2 there. Okay, so now this says the profile ID was 2. Let me just check a movie cover. Did I put profile ID in that one? Nope, that's just all about that. So now if I jump back here, because I'm logged in as Fred, if I list my movies, I shouldn't see the total recall information. Excellent. Okay, so that's good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just log in as Mary. So if I go back to localhost, and we'll go Mary, submit, list movies. This is her total recall movie. Okay. Now, so I've got 2 users on there. I've got data in both of them, but they can't see each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some friends. So this is now where we're going to start the whole social media aspect of it. So we're going to need to modify our profile. Okay. What we will do is we'll just throw in a new one. Going list friends for friends. Okay, we're going to list friends.php. Okay, let's save that there. But what we will do to make it really obvious. Okay, so if I reload my profiles page, so now we're going to start listing our friends. So I need a new page here, new PHP list friends. Remember, if you put capitals at any point, you've got to make sure it matches. Okay, so that's pretty much going to be a lot like our list movie function without the complexity like here. So let's just take all of that. Where did I steal from? I stole it from just above body, so from here up, paste. Okay, now we're not actually taking from movie anymore. If you recall, way back here we made a friend database table which had just profile ID and friend ID. Okay, so that pulls out, goes in here, goes in here. Let's go list of friends. Okay, link back to there. So star from friend where profile ID is UID. Okay, so if you look, that is going to be your user ID. That is going to be the user ID of your friend. So back we go here. Now in here we will take the UID. Let's also UID. And we'll have friend ID. Friend ID, is that what I called it? Yep, friend ID. Okay, that we don't need. Okay, but we will echo it out. So what we can do is we can go $, let's put $, friend name. So we want f name, so it stands for friend name, is assigned. Remember how we did this? This is where these functions, making them modular, comes in. That isn't session anymore. This is going to be $friend ID. Okay? Oops, I forgot the enter key to here, and this will be friend name last name. Excellent. And then we'll just go, we'll echo that out as we'll go, I'll put it in brackets just for the sake of putting it in brackets. Let's go H4, your friends, slash that S, you know that, slash H4, and then we'll go, I'll do it all as one line, that, space that, space there. And then here we'll put in a line break. Actually, this bit of code here we want to pull out, and we'll put that above it all. Okay, so this is, we're going to echo this up here. Before the loop, so that only pops up once. And inside here we go echo $f underscore f name $f underscore l name. Right, now I might want to remove them, so I'll just put in a remove here. Okay, I'll turn that into a link later. Excellent, so that'll list up our friends. Now, what happens if we don't have any friends? Well, that's unlucky. But what we can do is we can put in a echo of all users. You wouldn't do it this way, okay? Because I'm just going to blanket list them all so you can add them. So slash H4. Okay, and I'm going to need this bit of code. I'm going to put that here. Okay, and this is where I select from user, where profile ID, it's not profile ID, it's UID does not equal UID. Okay, so remember UID here is our session ID, and let's grab, what do we got? Don't need that, I just need $f name equals $row square bracket single quote first name to there, and $. Let's call this F. Okay, we'll keep the F's on there. Yeah, okay. F underscore first name, F underscore L name equals $row last name. That, and instead of a remove, we'll have an add. Okay, so we'll slash a that, because we will turn this into a link, and we'll go a href equals, what do we want? List friends dot php. I want to add to it, I want a semicolon, and I want to go friend ID equals that. $, F underscore UID. Put that in there, close it into there, turn that into like that. Okay, let's have a look and see what that does. So now if I click on list friends, okay, so this is on my area now. I've got a list, I can add Fred. Cool. Okay, let's jump back in here, check my spelling. So friend ID. Let's add a couple more users to the system. Okay, so I'll just take that back to here. Okay, you would actually create navigation links through it, but I can't be bothered at the moment. So let's see. I will grab. Let's go for B Wayne. His name is okay. Bruce Wayne. B Wayne at batman.com. Excellent. Let's we go Clark. Kent at Clark at Superman. Let's go with C. Kent at superman.com. Okay, so we submit that. Jump in here. Let's go log in back in as Mary. Okay, so now if I go to list of friends, there we go. So I can now add Fred, Bruce, and Clark. Okay. The last name didn't turn up because I can't spell last name if my life depended upon it, apparently. Let's hit the reload page. There we go. Fred Smith, Bruce Wayne. Good. Now, if I click on that, it's going to feed back into itself. So, I need to do a $, and we'll go add friend ID is $_get friend ID. Okay. Now, if bracket $, add, who put in these names? Friend ID is greater than 0, then what I want to do is I want to do two things. And add friend. Okay. Actually, let's change this a little bit. Let's be really sneaky about it. Let's change this to add here and add there. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to run an insert. Now, I could make it a function to start off with, but I'm feeling slightly lazy, so we'll just grab this here, jump back to here, paste that into here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to insert into friend. It was friend, wasn't it? Where am I going? I'm looking for here. Yep, just friend. Okay, insert into friend UID, profile ID, friend ID, and the rest of it is irrelevant. Okay, so this is... Now let's take that, put you up here. Okay, so this bit is $UID, and this bit is add friend, and that bit is irrelevant. Okay, so that puts that in that way. Then what we want to do is we want to add it in twice. Okay. And I just want to swap these around. Add friend ID. This is UID. Okay, there is actually a reason for this. This way, when I do this listing here, I can just run down, grab all my profile IDs, and it'll list it out, no matter who I'm logged in as. It also makes the connection two-way. Okay, so now from friend, where profile is that? Let's save that. Come back to here, hit the refresh page. Well, it didn't fail. So that's a good sign. Let's go to profile, list friends, and let's add Clark Kent as a friend. There we go. So now Clark Kent has turned up as my friend. Cool. And if I want to add Bruce Wayne, I can click on add, and Bruce Wayne exists as well. Now, if I jump into here and I go back to my friends table, okay, notice how I've got my numbers swapping over, so 2 to 4, then 4 and 2, then 2 and 3, then 3 and 2. This way, if say Clark Kent logged on, he would automatically be friends with Mary Smith, and same with Bruce Wayne. It's just based on the way that this works. Now our remove. Alright, so let's do this bit. If I go ahref equals list friends.php, that, and we'll go remove equals that dot dot that, that, and here we will go dollar signed friend no, actually I don't want friend that. What I want from here is I will have fr underscore UID. fr underscore UID. Cool. Okay, so let's save that. Let's just check to see if that works. So we'll go back to profile page, back to list friends. Okay, so now we've got active links. Awesome. So when I click on that, it now feeds back into itself. Now, this is where we use this part again. Okay, this is used for adding friends. This is used for recognizing the user. Yeesh, bad spelling. Now let's go remove friend ID. Here's assigned underscore get remove. Just for moving friend. Okay, so this bit here is our add friend, and now remove friend. So if bracket dollar sign remove. I got fried. Fried. Remove friend. No wonder it looked wrong. If I remove friend ID is greater than 0, which means that it's actually got something in it, then what I want to do is I want to run this. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to delete from the table friend, where profile ID, so this is my login, equals Okay, let's just run through this again. Delete from the friend table where... Let's check the page. Okay. Remove 3, remove 1. Remove 3, remove 1. 3, 4. No, it is actually UID. Where UID equals remove friend ID. UID equals that. Okay, and okay. SQL 1 result del1 MySQL 1 where UID equals remove friend. Let's go $sign. Link is assigned. Assigned remove friend ID plus 1. Okay, so when we put it in, it's the right. So if that's 1, right. So when we make our friend here, okay. So if he comes in and this auto ID becomes 1, the next line becomes 2. So here we're removing 1 and then we're removing 2. So let's save that and let's test the theory. So we'll go back to profile page, list friends. Oh, it didn't crash, good sign. So if we look here, right, so list of friends, remove is 3. So if I remove 3 here, I also want to get rid of 4 as well. So now if I hit remove, it's gone from here. I jump back into my database, I hit show, 3 and 4 are gone. Okay, so I've removed the links in both ways. Okay, so now I can have friends. So we'll just add back Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, and we'll throw in Fred Smith as well. Okay. What you could do is you could actually write, when we're listing all our friends down here, all the users, is we could do a quick comparison. So we could do like another while loop that checks to see if this friend ID is actually already one of our friends, and if it is, then we don't display this. Okay, so now that we've got that, we want to do something over here. So let's put down list friends movies. F movie. So I'll make a new page. List F movie .php. Awesome. Jump in here. Okay, so let's take from here up to start with. Okay, and we'll close off the PHP there, and we'll save that. Right. So, when I log into this point here, it tells me where I am. So I want to get a listing of my users, so we need this bit of code, and we'll take to here. Actually, let's just take all this for the moment. Okay, because we're going to start doing some tricky stuff inside that type of loop. And paste, so let's just do a quick check. Right, so I've pumped that out to there in case I need it. Tab that out to here. That's being polite about who you are. Tab that out. I'm missing that, so you've got to always check these things. This is an end if.
Right, so first thing it does is it's going to list all of our friends. So if I jump into here and we go back to our profile page and then we list friends movies. Right, this is my friends. Awesome. Now, okay, I don't want to have the ability to remove them. So let's take that bit out. There. Just throw that in a little bit to make it look a little tidier. Go back to my profile and I'll go list friends movies. Right, so there's my friends. Let's change that to list of friends movies. Cool. Now that we know who's got stuff, we need to check our data again. So from here, okay, this is where we'll be checking. We'll have to jump into here and we want to run down through the profile ID and we want to grab any of our friends' ID numbers. Okay, and then if they've got an ID number, we then have the UID for which movie we're after. Okay, so alright, so I want to keep inside here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and list everything nice and simple. Let's see. So I have my friend ID. So what I want to do now is I want to start another loop inside here. And this will be end movie search. Okay? So we'll call this result underscore M underscore M underscore M. Okay, so I'm just changing the variable names just to keep it a bit more distinct. Okay? So this is movie search. This is movie search per friend. So result. So select. Let's get a little more precise. Select UID from the movie table where. Select the profile ID from the movie table where. So select the UID from the movie table where the profile ID equals. This is our friends underscore UID. Okay, so now that we've got that, what we can do is we'll grab title, and we'll get a rating, and we will throw in the image. Okay, this is is assigned $row underscore M title. Sign underscore row underscore M rating equals $row underscore M cover ID. Okay, so now that I've got the information, so I've using this bit of code here, I've jumped into here and I've pulled out this stuff. Now I want to display this, that, and then I want to get that picture as well. So, let's put this information into a table because I'm feeling lazy and tables are really easy to deal with. So let's go quick table here. So table, open table, close, and we'll go table row, and we'll go TD, and we'll go title is $title. And we'll go TD rating. So this is what your friends rated it at. .dat slash TD $rating. And then what we'll do at the end is we'll put in, let's go back to our list of movies, grab this stuff, put it into there. Okay, so this is just cov, not cov ID. And this is too big. So on our image source here, we can image to that there. So source. I'm just going to put in a style equals, and we'll go width of 80 pixels. Okay. Now, notice how nothing's turning up here when I run this. That's because remember how I changed it from star to UID? So if I put that back to star, right, so select everything from the movie, which should make a bit more sense instead of just the UID. So notice now, Dark Knight Rises, the ratings, the Expendables. So if I look here, these are the ones that Fred's got listed. Okay, so that's now coming up. What I can do is I can hide. I don't really want to show that. So let's go first name, last name, show the table, and then after that what we'll do is we'll echo out line breaks. Always works better with the B. Line break in it there, and let's see about getting that image. So let's go find our list movie. I'll just take that part, paste. Don't really care about how many row spans it takes, I just want to put it in into here, and we'll just go style equals width 80 pixels. Save that, come back to here, and we'll go back to profile page, hit list friends movies. Okay, so that's a start. Okay, so I'm going to see the title, the rating, who's it from, and then it looks like I might be able to get my images up and running. So, why didn't that work? Check it out. Cov ID, cov. Just to make my life simple, I'll turn that into that. And I will get rid of that echo because I don't need it. Come back to here. Remember that when you do this stuff, it's your job to jump in and make it look pretty. Okay, so I've got Fred Smith in there. It's not bad, but I think we can still tidy that up a little more. So what we will do is I will put in a HR line here, and then we'll put in a HR line here. Okay, so if I go back to profile, list my friends' movies. Okay, so now you can really see that these are Fred's and no one else's. Okay, so that's a bit of social media. If you're my friend, I can see that. Now, if I go back to my listing of friends and remove Fred, and then go to list friends movies, because he's no longer my friend, I don't get it. So that's a bit of social media where I'm putting stuff into and out of and comparing them between. Now I haven't got the comments up and running, but let's do that quickly, or at least try and do that quickly. Okay, so what I will do is I'll go back to my profile page, I will list my friends, and I will add Fred, and I'll remove Clark, and I'll remove Bruce. So I have one friend, okay, because it's a sad life when your name's Fred Smith. And now I will start adding comments to it. Okay, so to do that, right, because I mean this stuff here, we could put that coding here, and it could just be a listing of friends here instead of being a link off, but I'm just not feeling that generous with all my coding at the moment. Joking. Okay, so from here, what I want to do is I want to add a link to it. Okay, so I'll go td, ahref equals add comment .php, and this will be for movie $sign cover ID, and Let me just check the database structure again. So we modified comments, didn't we? We added movie ID and we need the profile ID of the person making that, so I don't need to pass that through. Cool. Okay, that's pretty much all we need to add to it. And one of those. I'm going to go add comment /a/td. So we'll save that, jump back to our listing. Okay, list friends movies. So now I can go and add a comment. So I needed this new page up and running. New PHP add comment.php. Okay. Let's just steal all of that. Okay, and what do we need from here? I'll have the $movie, which is for my get movie. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to check. Echo $movie ID. Okay. Let's go and delete from here down. End of while. I don't have a while up there. Oops. Really? Okay, delete that bit. Okay, so if I save that, this is the link to the profile page. This is the add comment section. So now if I come back to here, I'll go profile page, list friends movies, add a comment. Excellent. Add a comment. Now from here, what might be useful is if you pull out the information in regards to the movie. Okay, so let's grab this bit here, like so, and we want to select star from movie where the movie UID is movie ID, and we'll grab the synopsis as well. Row underscore M that. Let's just change this around a little bit. Yeah, I can't bother doing it in tables. Okay, so let's go echo, and we'll go, let's go title. Title is $title. And then we'll put a line break after that. Have I been putting in all my line breaks backwards again? Yeah, probably. Then we'll have the rating. Rating is rating, that. Now in here I'm just going to put a couple of big ones in there. And then we'll go synopsis. Here we'll put a line break in there. $sin dot that, and then we'll post. Let's jump into here. We'll grab the view image thing, like so. So put that here. Image style. I'm not too worried about the size of it now. Come into here, and the file is my movie ID. Let's have a look. So it gives me my title, my rating, my synopsis, the image. Excellent. So this should list up everything for me. So if I go to my profile, list my friends, add a comment, I get nothing. Excellent. So what does that say? It says this isn't quite right. Okay. Movie is wrong, right? So I check here, and I'm feeding it through wrong. So that means the problem is probably not on this page, but on this page. So let's have a look. That's what happens when you forget the equal sign. Cool, let's go back. Profile page. Always check for typos after everything you do. Okay, let's add a comment. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so there's my synopsis, there's my image. That's additional junk, which means there's still something a little wrong with this link here. So let's do that. Get back to my profile. List friends movies. As you could probably see, a breadcrumb here would work really well. So I've got profile page, but I could have a link that leads me back one. That's coming up, so I know what that is. So now that I know that, where did I echo it out? Wrong page, over here. Echo movie ID is coming through awesomely. That's good, okay? So that's pulled out all that information out. Now, what I want to do is I want to make a form. Of course, you guys have all now mastered the art of making forms. So, let's do it this way. What we want to do is, in our form, yeah, let's feed it to itself. Server php underscore self. Alright, so this is going to be a really simple form. Add comments. Put a line break here. And the comment, I'm going to have it as a text area. Comments into here. Tab that out a little bit. We'll give it 40 columns across and 10 rows across, and we need a submit button here. Save that. Let's go back and have a look here. Okay, so if I refresh that, here we go. Now I can add my comments. So my comments can go into here, hit the submit, and the page will reload itself again. Notice, I hit the submit and everything disappeared. Why? Because I'm not passing through the movie ID anymore. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to put the movie ID here just into a, we'll do it this way, we'll do it as a hidden field. Okay, so we'll feed that back into here, and this will be, we'll just call it mov ID, and its value equals $ movie ID. Okay, and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put a $ underscore, no, on a variable, so I'll go mov. Let's do it this way so you can understand it. Post mov ID, so it's the posted movie ID. It's also underscore post mov ID. Now, if bracket $post mov ID is greater than 0, in other words, if it does exist, then we will go $movie ID is assigned $post mov ID. Okay, so just following the logic between here. When we first come into here, we're doing it as a get. So we pull that out of the address bar. We then fill out our form here. Okay, we see it all, we hit the submit button, it comes back. There's nothing in the address bar, but we have put something in a movie ID here for a post. So this is bound to be 0. Then, if this is greater than 0, in other words it exists, we assign movie ID that information. Then when we get to here, we've got something to look through. That's the theory. Let's do a quick test. Let's go back to profile page, list friends movies, add comment, hit the submit button. All the data's still there, okay? That's good, and there's nothing up here anymore. That's exactly what we want to see. Right, so let's just put that. Okay. So now that I've got that, let's do this. If bracket not is set, bracket underscore post submit, echo out the form, else, okay, echo add comment here to database, and if. Right. Let's go and try this again. So we're going to reload the whole page again just to make sure. So I can add a comment. Typo on line 44. That's because I'm short one bracket. Curly brace, I should say. Oh no, it was a bracket. It's all good. Okay, let's go back to here. List friends movies. Add a comment. Okay, so that loaded. That's a good sign. Comments go into here. If I hit submit, that should now change to add comment here. Awesome. That's very good, actually. Right, so from here, now we need to insert that into our database table. Right, so we've got, let's do this. Okay, so we need this bit of information, which we can put here. Right, now, this is going into the comments database. So we go comments, let's check. What do we have in our comments field? We have UID, profile ID, comments, and movie ID. So pretty much not that much of information in there. Okay, so we got UID. Actually, let's do it this way. I'm just going to rip that off and put it onto my other screen so I can see it while I type this up. So we have profile ID. We have comments. And then we have movie ID. We don't have any of the rest of that stuff there. Just delete that bit. Okay, so null, and in here, this is $UID. Comments is, let's see, what is comments? That's pretty obvious. Com is assigned underscore post comments. Okay, $com. So that's our comments that have come back in. Then what we're looking for is our movie ID, which is $movie ID. Okay. Awesome. So that adds that. Excellent. So let's save that and let's just test it. So come back into here, let's go back to our profile page. List friends movie, add comment, add some junk into here, hit the submit button, imagery loads. Excellent. Now let me pull this back into play so you can see it. If I browse my comments here, I've got comments coming in, okay, and it's listed up here, which is good. So that's good. Now, when we do our list of movies, our friends' movies, what we can do is we can now add the comments listing into it. Do we want to add it there, or do we want to add it in the list of movies? List of movies. Let's add it to list of movies. Okay. So now let's go to list movie here. Okay. So this is all the information that comes in here. So this is how we're going to do this. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to get movie comments in this section here. This is the end of get. Right, so we're going to need one of these. We need to paste that into here. We tab that out a bit. Select star from, this is from comments now, comments where movie ID, let's check, movie ID, where the movie ID equals $, mov ID equals $_ row that UID, movie ID equals mov ID. We result that as result 1 and result 1 and row _ m. So that's the end of the while. Actually, we might put that in a different position. Yeah, we might take that off there. Okay, so we see that, and then after we've seen all the information, we can put the comments in, just to keep it a little bit tidier. Now, so from here, what we want to do is we want to get the profile ID. So we've got the commenter $ commenter ID equals $ row _ m profile ID, and then we want the comment equals $ row _ m that comments, spelling is not my friend, comments, like that. So that's the 2 bits of information we want, isn't it? The comment and the profile ID. Excellent. Okay, so from here, what we do is we want to get the name of the commenter. So we use the same code that we used up here. So this is where that function's coming into play. And we'll go com _ that is not the session ID, this is the $ commenter ID, $ commenter ID. So that should give me the first name and last name of the commenter, and I've got the comments. So let's put in a echo h4 comments / h4, and here let's go this way, let's go h5 echo, okay, h5, let's put in the name, and we'll go space that space that space / h4. Okay, so in this space we want to go $ com _ f name, $ com _ l name. So that's the commenter name, and then here we will go, let's do it as h5 as well, / h5, here we'll go $ comment, save. Have I missed anything? We'll find out. I'll run it and if it crashes, yes I did. Okay, so let's go back to here. So now if I do a list of movies, okay, that's come out with that. So it's kind of there, but it's not there. Okay, so this is Mary's. Let's just check again what we're asking for. Okay, so Total Recall. I didn't put any comments on Total Recall, so that makes perfect sense. Okay, I put a comment on The Dark Knight. So now let me just log out and let's go in as Fred. Okay, let's go in as Fred. Fred. So let's have a look at his friends. So he's got Mary Smith as a friend. Okay, and let's have a look at our list of movies. So here's The Dark Knight, but nothing in there regarding comments. So movie ID is 1. Let's take a look here in movie. 1 is Dark Knight. Comments ID is UID 1. Okay, so let's see what's coming out here. ComF name. So the easiest way to do that is to echo this stuff out. Where movie ID equals $ movie ID. Do I have $ movie ID here? I do. Right, so let's start here. Let's echo out $ movie ID. That'll be the first useful bit of information to find out. So we just refresh the page. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I didn't see anything change on that screen. Why is there an underscore there? Let's try this again, shall we? Refresh. There we go. So notice here, I've now got the commenter name and the actual comment itself coming up. So I can clear out my echo here. And let's just put a HR there. So if I save that, come back to here, profile page, list movies, there we go. So my comment, Mary Smith did that. So that's cool. Let's go to profile page, list friends, let's add Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne. Okay, so now I'm going to log in as Bruce Wayne, so it's Bruce and Bruce. Submit, no it's okay, I don't want to see that. Have a look at my friend's movies. Oh look, Fred Smith, he has Dark Knight on there and has Expendables. Let's jump into Dark Knight and let's go, oh this is an awesome movie. Let's just say he's not that articulate. Sounds like me. No, right, so he's made his comment. Right, so if I list my movies here, I don't have any. If I go back to here, let's log in as Fred again. Fred and Fred. List my movies. Oh look, my two friends, Mary and Bruce, have made comments on my Dark Knight movie. Okay, so now I've got stuff jumping in and out. You can use the lecture notes to see how to delete comments and all that. It's pretty simple. And yeah, that's all I'm going to do for this one. That's a rough bare bones on how to get stuff talking in between people. Now it's up to you to make it look really pretty. Enjoy.